Hi everyone, me again. So I've just completed my third build for the Meng Tiger group build that's been run by Papa Dan and Colonel Reb. Thanks again guys for doing this. As you know, I did the Tiger P, then I did the Panzer 38T, and I've, as I say, just finished doing this Panzer 3. This build was much more complicated than the other two. The shirtson that's hanging off the side of the tank, it's got brackets that come from the side of the actual tank itself, and they come out, and then the shirtson hangs on these brackets. And what Colonel Reb said about the Sherman, one of the reasons he had issues with putting some of the parts in the slots was that because he added paint to those parts, it increased the width of the part itself or decreased the aperture of the slot where the part had got to go in, and that's exactly what I had with this. I thought it would be a good idea to spray the turret separate from the shirtson, because obviously getting the primer behind the shirtson, and also on the sides I did that as well. I took the shirtson off and primed it that way. And then, because it was all separate, I decided that it'd be okay and better if I painted the tank all one colour, then the shirtson, and then once all that was dry, put a clear coat on for the decals. But what I hadn't bargained for was all those layers that were put on the parts. Meant it was a hell of a job fitting the shirtson to the tank in the end, because the plates on the sides at the bottom wouldn't they wouldn't go on to the brackets, and it wasn't so bad on the top, because they're fitted differently. They've got basically two prongs and they fit into holes, and that wasn't a problem. But the bottom plates, they had square in section parts that fitted into square holes, and then what you're supposed to do is push the shirtson down, and they lock into place then, and you're like, there should be a gap between the bracket that's coming into the shirtson and where it actually sits. But unfortunately, because of all these layers, what's happened is I've managed to fit the shirtson onto the square section bracket, but I've had to leave it like that. I haven't been able to, on some I have, but on others I've had to leave it as it is, else I'm going to break the brackets or something. I painted this practically exactly the same as the Tiger P. I didn't do a wash of Nuln Oil over this one because I was happy with the highlighting. If you remember, on the 38T, it was too light, the colour over the Panzer Grey, and so I had to tone it down by putting the Nuln Oil over the top. Anyway, that's enough waffle about the trials and tribulations. Let's have a look at the kit. So here she is, guys. The tracks were painted again in AK's rusty track. The exhaust, because I had fun doing the rust on the 38T, that is AK's rusty track whilst it was still wet, painted on dark rust, and then AK's light rust, and I just blended it just to give it that kind of haphazard rusting effect. And then once all that was dry, I stippled on some Panzer Grey to darken down some areas. The machine guns were finished in bolt gun metal, and then Nuln Oil over the top. Now I don't know whether you can see there, but some of those squares in the plates, you can see that some have popped out, but there's one there that won't. It's kind of jammed in that position, and what's going on with this plate is, I think you may have seen it, it was sloped towards the tank at the bottom, which was a bit unfortunate, but you know, I have got most of the squares that are sticking out of the shirts in there. The decals for this kit, I didn't use them in the end. I decided that I know it's a Toon kit, but what I would like to have done is the kit decals, they give you one set of numerals and one set of divisional markings, one set of Panzer Army markings, whereas of course on the tanks there would have been two, and they didn't give you any Balkan crews either. So I found some Balkan crews that I had spare. I put those on. What I want to do at a later date is find out identical tank serial numbers to put either side of the turret, and then try and find some divisional markings to put back and front to finish this off. Now I did wonder whether it was possible to make this is a late Panzer III, I think this is a Panzer IIIN, and I was right, it shouldn't be finished in Panzer Grey, it should be in Dunkelgelb, but I followed the box art. And I did wonder whether from this kit you could just throw a bit of tubing on the front of the on the front of the gun to make it longer, fill in the slots for the brackets, and just make it as an earlier Panzer III. Just a quick conversion, just to have something slightly different in the collection. I could not get the rear, you see the rear turret plates there, could not get them to butt up to each other. Whether there was paint that was in the holes, and so the pins wouldn't go in deep enough, I don't know, but it just would not close up. But that's it. What I'll do now, just for a bit of fun, is I'll get the two other kits and we'll see the three of them together. So here they are, guys, the three vehicles all together. Just to remind you, the largest one on the end is the Tiger P, then the one I've just built, which is the Panzer III, which rhymes, and then the 38T, they all rhyme. I thoroughly enjoyed the Tiger P. I enjoyed the 38T, but the Panzer III turned out to be a bit of a ball ache, if I'm honest. What I'm going to do now for this group build is I'm going to call it a day. I'm not intending to finish the Father Christmas Sherman for the end of this group build. What I will do is I will finish it before Christmas. I have made progress on it, but because there's a project that I want to get sorted out by the end of September, I just need to crack on with that now. So, but as I said before, and I've said in my other videos, I just want to thank Papa Dan and Colonel Red for running this group build, for introducing me to these kits, which I have looked at and turned my nose up at. But there's got to be others out there which are as fun to build as the Tiger P. It's just a case of buying them and finding out. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. I hope your week's going well, and I'll catch up with you soon.